Good morning, sports fans. I can't hear myself.
I can hear you. Is
that right?
Fine.
We good? All right. Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM, streaming live on the web at WLCNonline.com. You can follow us on Twitter at WLCN Sports. Thanks, Jake. We are at P&M Communications for their annual Christmas open house, and be sure to stick around after the Cheap Seats for Big Daddy Jim and Bob Metz from P&M Communications, as they will be live until noon. And the celebration goes on until 2 p.m. with great food from Lincoln IGA and great deals on TVs and other top quality products available here at P&M Communications. And your money stays here in Lincoln and Logan County. P&M Communications, local guys. And if anybody has a last-minute gift they're looking for, they got the drone on sale, Jake.
I'm sorry, I was paying attention to these drones over here. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah.
Huge holiday markdowns on these things. These are professional drones, man.
High quality.
High quality. We wouldn't even need Lloyd. We could just control it right from our iPhones here, just be watching ourselves. Be sweet.
Well,
4K resolution.
Yeah. In-house with us right now, we got Coach Gregg Alexander. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys.
What you been doing this morning?
Not much.
Not much?
No practice this morning. So
no practice. Well, after the performance last night by the Railers, you know, it's good to give them a day off.
It was. We've had a couple long weeks with our tournament, Thanksgiving tournament last week, and we played only one game last week. So trying to get their legs back underneath them so we can get going for two big games coming this weekend.
Before we talk about the game last night, Greg, the varsity, the JV kicked off their season last night. First game of the season. Been practicing for several weeks now, so it's got to feel nice for them to get out and get some game time, some game speed. They got the victory over Jacksonville. Tell us a little bit about what you thought, how the kids played, and
it was good. You know, it was a good start. You know, it's been 4 weeks, a little more than 4 weeks for their first game, which it's a very long time. But you know, there's some things we learned, what we need to work on, some things we did well. So it was good just to get that first game out of the way and let them play.
Get out there and play, and then, you know, now you have the next practice. You have something to go in to, you know, that you need to work on. You know, obviously practice speed and game speed's completely different. You're not playing against each other where you kind of know each other's tendencies. You went and faced a Jacksonville team that they're usually pretty solid, and like I said, they came out with a victory. And just give us some of the kind of the keys that kind of stood out last night.
It's good. We just talked about, you know, you mentioned playing in game speed, and that is different, and that their minds were going to be racing a little faster to try to slow down, play as hard as you can. You know, mistakes are going to happen. Play through them, and we'll work those out. But you know, they played us in a zone, so we moved the ball to. We got the ball into Colton Holiday a lot in the middle. He's very aggressive, so he was kind of he got to the basket a lot, got to the foul line a lot, and opened things up for us.
Kind of a low-scoring game, but that's understood. You know, the first game of the season, still trying to figure out, trying to gel as a team. You know, these kids haven't really played together. You know, you got kids coming in from WLB, Chester East, you know, Carroll Catholic, you know, just all these elementary schools or junior high schools feeding into the high school. Haven't really had time to gel. So, you know, I'm sure you'll get them in shape, and they'll just keep moving right along.
You know, we got a mixture of freshmen and sophomores. So, you know, the freshmen have been going to their freshman practice and playing in some freshman games, so they haven't been with the sophomores that much. So getting them all on the same page that was kind of really the first time we'd all been together. So it's going to be a work in progress, but they're working hard. So when you got kids that'll do that, some good things are going to happen.
All right, let's move on to the varsity. It was a game that we go into, you know, we knew it was going to be tough. You know, you go into that game, Jacksonville's, you know, they're rated pretty high. You know, they got some good players. They got a good shooter in Hayes, and their big kid McCombs. Is it McCombs or Combs?
McCombs, I believe.
Yeah, their big kid underneath. But our defense has been solid all year, and last night was no different.
No, there's no complaints on the defensive end with our effort and how hard we're playing. Of course, we had some bad rotations that you always want to improve on, but that's something that's always going to happen. But when you play hard, it covers a lot of those up, and we do. And we force them to be uncomfortable, I think. We force them to play off the dribble. They're towards the end of the second quarter, they end up hitting, I don't know, 3 or 4 threes in a row, but they weren't threes on the line.
No,
they were extremely deep, and I don't think you're going to get guys that consistently make those. So we continue to apply the pressure, which was great, and we
got a little fan.
Got a little fan right in front, and we forced them to do some things which helped our offense, and we got some easy baskets, and we got some things going.
You talk about the deep threes, and I thought that's Lincoln kind of extended their defense to push them back. Their shooter, Brady Hayes, I mean, he can hit them from deep. Thought they did a pretty good job of shutting him down, and you got to give credit to our big guys keeping McCombs out of the lane, and, did a really good job on him. He got some, offensive rebound putbacks, but for the most part, our defense all around, I can't say enough about him. I mean, defense wins basketball games.
It does, and he's one of the better big guys that we will play. He's very skilled. He can pass, shoot, dribble, rebound. He can score inside. He can step out to 15. And I think we did a really good job on him. We did a great job on the rebounding.
Yeah.
They're a taller team than we are. But we competed very well on the rebounds, and we got late in the game there when they were getting some shots up to try to come back. We got rebounds. We only allowed them to have one shot. Then they ended up fouling us, allowed us to go to the free throw line.
Offensive side of the ball, thought we played well. We made a lot of three-pointers, moved the ball. Had times when we were a little sporadic, a little out of control, but that was both ways. It was kind of a part of the game where both ways were, in the transition, just kind of a little out of control. That's something that you and Coach Al will, address. And 6-1 on the season. I can't believe we've already played 7 games.
That's crazy.
And we got 2 games back-to-back this weekend, so it should be hopefully a good practice for you this week.
It will. As like we talked with the sophomores, there's always things to work on. So we'll go back. They threw a 1-3-1 at us last night, and we only scored, I think, 4 points in the second quarter. Made some adjustments at halftime, kind of got the ball inside, and Drew was able to convert on a couple layups off of Isaiah's dribble drive drop-offs, which then went back and opened up some perimeter shots for us that Bryson hit one, and then Isaiah also hit one, which really helped our offense.
Now, 1-3-1, that's not a defense that we tend to see a lot of. How do you adjust? I mean, they didn't run it the first half. They went at halftime, or did they run it?
They ran it in the second quarter. It's a tough defense, and they're big and long, so they really spread out across the middle of the floor. And they forced us into some long, tougher shots in the second quarter. So we wanted to be more aggressive. So we started to try to really drive the ball.
Right. Well, you figured it out you got Bacon the ball underneath quite a bit the second half, and is that their weak spot with the 3 guys?
If you can get it down there, which is not an easy thing to do with the length across the middle, to try to hit your short porch guy, and we did, and Drew, like I said, was able to convert a couple really big layups that opened up a lot of stuff for us.
Go ahead, Jake. Contribute.
Well, I was just thinking, we're 7 games in to the season. Has there been any surprises? I shouldn't say surprises because you've been coaching these guys, but anything that's kind of standing out to you from last year to this year for some of these players? I mean, we were talking a little bit off the air, Bryson Kirby with his defense, maybe a little more progressed than what we had thought it would be.
Yeah. Our defense our defense is great. It's causing people to be uncomfortable. A little bit
at the high school game. If you can get just a little bit off, that can affect
a little bit in the past. A little bit in the past, we didn't trap as much the last handful of years. Guys were comfortable. People were making a lot of threes on us. So I know we're not. I don't think we're a much taller team than we were a year ago, but we got some guys with some bulk on them, and we're getting up and pressure them, and we're being physical. I think our defense is pretty physical, it's fun to watch. I mean, when we play like that and we play hard, it's helping us out a lot.
Well, you got some guys, too, that don't have a whole lot of varsity experience carried over from last year. So, as the season goes along, playing JV speed to varsity speed, it's different.
It's much different.
The kids are more developed, more mature. It's a different game. So, we got 2 games this weekend, and then, we go down to Collinsville. So the season is upon us. And, these kids, they're just going to improve. And I know you coaches like to say you don't want to be playing your best basketball early in the season. You want to get better.
And that's the goal.
So, and if the kids are playing like this now, you guys have to be pretty excited of the future of Raylor basketball when it comes into January, February.
That's what you play for, is the end of the year. Of we kind of take it step by step, and we start with our tournament, and we always want to win our tournament, and then we want to progress on, and then you start conference play, and you want to win the conference, and then you want to go down to Collinsville and play well. But it all prepares you for the regional and sectional, so you can advance in the postseason.
All right, Coach. Just kind of looking towards the weekend, we got Springfield High coming to town Friday night. It'll be a 7:30 tip-off for varsity, 6 o'clock for JV. And then Saturday is the all-day affair.
Yes.
And that's here.
That is here.
Against SHG, where the boys JV will play at 3.
Yes.
And the girls JV will play in the back gym.
At 3.
At 3. And then the high school girls will play at 6 or 5.
5, I believe.
5, and then varsity girls 6:30 boys. So a long day for you. But
you got to be looking forward to that, though.
It's basketball season.
I was going to say it's basketball season, and as good as our girls have been lately too. I mean, I know you're coaching the boys, but it's got to kind of get your blood going too. Seeing those girls perform well, having a little more buzz around the school. It's basketball fever. So
it is, and it just brings excitement to our school, to our community. When somebody, athletes, teams perform well, we're all pulling for them.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thanks for coming in today, filling in for Coach Al, who's on the road right now, heading over to Evansville to watch some college basketball. It's just basketball 24/7 in the Alexander household.
Yep,
24/7.
24/7. I noticed he brought the future Railers in here.
They were the ones making all the noise.
They're the ones making this show better.
Yeah, exactly. A little entertainment. Nobody wants to see us. But, Coach, thanks for stopping by today. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see how next weekend goes.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
That's Coach Gregg Alexander of your Lincoln Rail Splitters. We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk some more basketball. The Lady Railers won the other night, and the WLB 7th grade girls win the 1A championship. So stay tuned. You're in the Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM. Welcome back to the Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM, and we are streaming live on the web at WLCNonline.com. Scott Kirby Jake Johnston with you this morning at PNM Communications for their annual Christmas open house. They're going to have some.
They got food over there, man.
I smell it. It smells delicious.
I'm ready. That was too short of a break. I walked over there at the last minute after talking to Greg, and
you just didn't have enough time to grab one.
Didn't have enough time to grab it. Well, she said 10 seconds.
10 seconds, and you're still It
was tough to get in.
Lloyd behind the camera, and Jim Ashen with us today as well. They will be taking over. Big Daddy Jim and Bob Metz will be taking over after we are done. They'll be here till noon if you need a TV or any electronical anything, headphones,
maybe a Dish Network setup, a drone. They got killer prices on drones. You get on into your local PNMA Communications on these aren't your kids' drones.
These aren't.
These are serious machines, man.
They will take a finger off. Just ask the Cleveland pitcher. Got to be careful of them things. Got to be careful, especially before the World Series and the playoffs.
Holy cow. Yeah,
the ALDS or ALCS, whatever one it was.
Yeah, but in the DS, and
DS.
Then they made it through and had to try it in the NCS.
So get on out to PNM Communications. Get you a new TV for Christmas. Watch all these Christmas programs on a new TV.
I got all my TVs from these guys.
Absolutely.
We've got some out the store showing off the pictures and whatnot for them. We try to send them as much business as we can. So like to keep it local, man.
Absolutely. The Lady Railers were victorious the other night against Bloomington last Thursday, and 96.3 FM was there to broadcast it, as well as filming it. Now, the filming, we don't know if it was good or bad. My guess is bad. I'm blaming it on the tripod.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm blaming it on. But no, the girls haven't started their season the way they wanted to. Maybe still trying to get that team camaraderie. Last year they went on a good playoff run, went deep, and they have a lot of high expectations this year. Didn't get off to a great start, but I think they're starting to find their groove now. They beat Bloomington the other night 70-62. At one point they were up big, and Bloomington, they're decent. They made some big shots towards the end, but the Lady Railers were able to hang on and win by 8.
I was talking to a friend of mine that lives in Rochester, and he said, he was talking about the Lady Railers basketball and saying they have a bullseye on their back this year.
Yeah.
With the playoff run they made, every team wants to go out there as if they were the champions of the NL or the Central State 8.
Right.
And they want to make sure they're putting on a good performance against them. That's, especially early in the year, I think that can be a little bit tough.
Right.
Because
these teams are coming out with their A game.
Yep. They know they have to perform. And I'm not making excuses or anything, but right off the bat, that could be a little bit of it as well.
Yeah. Well, that's a game that, Rochester and Springfield, they have circled on the calendar from last year.
Oh, yeah.
So they're preparing for this game right from the get-go, And like you said, they got a target on their back, but they'll get it. They got a good coach and Coach Richmond. She does a great job with them. They're physical. They're quick. They can shoot. They've got all the tools to be a great team, and they'll get back on track. There's no doubt in my mind. And they're going to continue that track today at Jacksonville. And then next Thursday, they'll be at Lanphier. 96.3 FM will be there broadcasting that too. Joe Ryan and Lloyd Kirby will bring you play-by-play action. And we're still trying to figure out what a ball court press is. Do you know what a ball court press is?
I'm
apparently only Joe knows.
It's kind of like a line of scrimmage.
Oh, and then apparently we call the free throw line the line of scrimmage now. So that's Joe Ryan's technical terms. He puts a little spin on it.
In the broadcast is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Joe has his own way of broadcasting. It's kind of like Harry Carey used to do baseball.
Just makes, yeah.
Can mix things up and blame it on the alcohol at the
end. Well. So, yeah, they did a great job the other night. Lloyd was there doing stats and doing the color.
You're doing color as well?
Yeah, he's jack of all trades.
Something.
He got everything set up because we know Joe don't know how to set up any of this.
No, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, so good thing for Lloyd, right?
There's a reason I stay away from this.
Yep. Sticking with girls basketball, congratulations to the WLB 7th grade girls.
Oh, yeah.
On winning the 1A state championship.
Well, I tell you what, pipeline's starting to look good, isn't it?
It is.
Both on the men's and women's basketball side of things.
So Coach Froby has them going there year in, year out. It's just, year after year they're competing. They got Kaylin was there a few years ago. She wins a championship. Now they got their youngest daughter, Chloe, playing. And then they got another little guy playing, and Caden's playing freshman. So, and then it's just, year in, year out. And it's exciting to see. Coach Richmond has to be excited to see that. Unfortunately, they played Thursday night as well. So, I know a lot of the girls' crowd that's probably usually there was at WLB as they beat Pana Sacred Heart 40-30. I think it was tied going into the fourth quarter. Didn't really have a whole lot of updates, but we did the best we could, and so congratulations to them.
We have coaches. We're in negotiations, I guess, getting her on here as weekly guest.
Who?
Coach Rich.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's more than welcome because people would rather listen to her than us.
I completely agree with that.
That is a guarantee.
Jim's looking at us like, wait a minute. How can I save money here?
You can't, Jim. You have to spend money to make money. So
and we're going wireless.
Never. But yeah, congratulations to them. As we're going to try to get them in here. Maybe where are we at next week? Let's take a look.
Hold on
into the future.
Please hold.
Please hold as we look. Oh, next week we're at Castle Manor, so maybe we should try to get them on there.
There you go.
We'll get in touch with Coach Froby and see if maybe we can get the 7th grade girls in for a interview and maybe bring in their hardware and talk about how the season went and tell us a little bit about the championship game and the road that led there.
There you go.
All right, that's all I got. What do you got, Jake? That was my itinerary. You got anything? No? Okay.
No.
Well, then I'll keep
that was your entire itinerary?
That was it.
Wait a minute. You had Magenta, and that's all you had?
Well, I mean...
Did you go over to the Central State A? We didn't even talk scores of the Central State A, and we're still talking basketball.
You want to talk some scores? Let's talk some scores.
I thought you'd run through them at least.
Run through them. He wants to run through them. Looks like a pretty good game. Southeast and MacArthur. Southeast 64, MacArthur 58.
I'll tell you what, MacArthur could be tough this year,
too. Both Decatur schools are supposedly good. They got Southeast ranked number 1 in the Central State 8 this year, and I think that might be a little flip-flop with Lanphier, but the only reason why Southeast is ahead of Lanphier right now is because Southeast beat Lanphier 3 times last year. 3 times. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, but Southeast pulled it off. And Lanphier, they have to have a little bad taste in their mouth right now, after that. So I can see a little flip-flop, going on as the season goes on. Lanphier took on Eisenhower last night, beat them, pretty easily by 15. And then, like we said, Lincoln 43, Jacksonville 34. Springfield High put it to Glenwood 57-41. That's kind of shocking right there. Springfield beating Glenwood. That doesn't happen too often. And then SHG, a close one with Rochester.
Football score,
38-35. Yeah, it is. And Rochester losing twice to SHG in football and then first game of basketball. How'd you like that?
Well, I think Rochester bringing home the hardware, though, this year may have one up on them.
That trumps everything,
yeah, it's kind of like, did we lose you?
We lost
because
one game.
We've got a title.
Yeah, and you got to remember Rochester's 4A, SHG 6A.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But, yeah, I think it was a close game throughout, and SHG able to pull that one off. And they got a freshman playing, Snodgrass. He's a good friend of Bryson's, and going in, stepping up big as a freshman. He's a good ball player, so keep an eye on him over the next several years because he's a good player. Okay, there's your update. Now what?
I think it's time for the break.
Oh yeah, let's take a break. We come back.
They got the food ready, man. The heck are you?
Yeah, we got some wrestling news we'll talk about. We got some kids, our wrestling programs on the rise.
And we talk some Major League Baseball too.
You want to talk some baseball, some big trades? You talk some NFL if we really want to.
What's that?
Yeah, I know. It's been a rough year for NFL, and
especially for us Bears fans.
Yeah, but you know what? It's
No.
Okay. Let's go to break. We will be back after these messages, so stay tuned. You're in the Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM. How you like that? For control.
Is that you?
That's me. I can do whatever I want on here.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to sing right now.
Have a holly
Merry
jolly
Christmas. Oh,
it's the best time of the year.
All right, that's enough.
What do you want me to sing? I got a big sandwich in front of me.
Yeah. I thought you could just...
Got the veggies going on out here. We got cookies.
Yeah, they just brought out the food.
The punch, coffee. I've got both. Two piston.
So thank PNM Communications. Get out here and see them. They do a great thing. Local. It's their annual open house.
You know what? The variety of televisions and whatnot that they have here.
And it's all name brands. Samsung.
Oh, yeah.
Samsung, they got
LG.
Hitachi. They've got them all, and they've got any size you want.
Well, everybody wants a little bigger TV, a little clearer TV.
Oh,
well,
yeah. And
you're not only getting the bigger, the better TVs, but you're getting the bigger, better components inside the TVs, which is going to make them a longer lasting, a better quality television. You can go out on your Black Friday and get your $200 or $300 special. Well, those don't tend to last like these do. These are made to wear through years, and it's definitely a better quality product.
How about TVs these days? They are just. How can you get any better?
Oh, I tell you what.
The picture is.
We were watching. We were watching the World Series the other day on my 4K TV. It's amazing when you see the sweat beat up on a guy before it drips down his face. Holy cow!
Oh, we were watching the Bears game and it was snowing,
What's
and
that?
you could just see the snowflake. Yeah, you could see the snow, but you could see the
flakes and whatnot, how they're coming down.
What's the word I'm looking for?
I have no idea.
Texture of the snow.
The texture
of the snowflake, or something like that.
Boy, you are autistic.
Hey, you want to do
Artistic.
everybody's favorite segment?
What's that?
Hats off.
Oh boy.
So it's time for hats off.
Time now for hats off. Time now for hats off. People put it down cause it's not very good, but we've got theme songs. Joe didn't show, he's not here to jog. He's probably out somewhere riding corn dogs. Lord have mercy on our listeners, it's time now for hats off.
Do you have a hats off? Do you have a hats off ready? Watch this. All right.
Look at there.
I can turn it down. My hats off today is going to go to the Lincoln IGA. The Lincoln IGA does so much for this community. Last week they had their annual food drive for the local food pantry, which hopefully was a big hit because the food pantry, it's not just a seasonal thing. It's year-round.
Yeah.
And we have to keep those, shelves full because there's people in need out there. And what they do, not just for the food pantry, but for all kinds of organizations in this town, they don't even bat an eye. If somebody comes and needs help or something donated, boom, IGA is there. They're on it. No questions asked. And, that's a great thing to have in a small community like Lincoln where, Bill and Charlie over there, they're great people.
Taking care of.
Yeah, exactly. And, if you have any shopping to do, go to your local IGA. They have everything you need right there. They have stuff that, the big supermarkets don't have. Your local people, they have stuff in there.
Well, and you know what a lot of people don't realize about IGA as well, and it's just go out there. Go back to the back. If you're wanting a special cut of meat or something, go back to the back. They'll get you what you want, Uh-oh.
Oh, he's waving the phone.
Why is he waving the phone at you?
I don't know.
But make sure you go back there. Order. If you want that 1.5, 2 inch thick cut steak, order it up.
Okay. Yeah, order it up, and they'll cut it up. And they've got all kinds. Their fried chicken's phenomenal.
Oh, what we're supposed to talk about?
Oh, we're not?
No.
Oh, well then.
I have an issue with eating fried chicken right now. I enjoy it too much, and it shows. Just saying.
It's delicious.
It is delicious.
Now
plus all the other sides, they have out there. Pistachio pudding. I love that stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to give 2 shout-outs today, unless you want to do that shout-out, because you probably don't have
Go ahead. I've got one.
Oh, you got one? Well, shout-out. It's not shout-out. It's hats off.
Hats off.
Come on. Now we're going to have to do a segment on shout-outs.
Oh, no. Lloyd's going to have to spend 30 minutes.
Lloyd's giving me dirty looks right now. He's not real happy with me. And I'll tell you why later. I'm going to give he said, it's Joe Ryan. No wonder why. Joe, we don't give shout-outs here. We do hats off. And this one's going to the Lincoln baseball program. They're putting on a breakfast tomorrow to help sponsor the Lincoln Community High School junior class. And Joe says, thanks, fellas.
Huh.
But Joe's listening. I don't know where Joe's at, but he's listening.
You think?
Well, obviously.
He just random text. He knows what time it is.
Oh, well, yeah, he does. So
Send him something back, something entertaining. My hat's off goes to my beloved St. Louis Cardinal. Going out there a little beyond their comfort zone and bringing in a center fielder, a true center fielder, and a guy that could potentially lead off for us and set the tempo. You know,
he's going to lead off. How could he not?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, when he goes, you go.
Is that how it goes? It still goes that way, even though he's leaving Chicago. It's still going to go that way.
It's not going to go that way, but the Cardinals are hoping it goes that way.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no. And, I think it's a great sign for him.
It is. And I'm not going to lie. I hated to see that. I would want him to go anywhere but your rivalry. Well, because
honestly, that's how I was last year with Hayward.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see him go to the Cubs, but I was actually happy he didn't sign with the Cardinals. So.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I hated seeing him go with the Cardinals, and I hated him.
Well,
not signing with the Cubs. But the Cubs
won the
didn't
World
offer.
Series last year.
Fowler, he wants paid. Cubs
can't blame him for that.
We got so many young kids right now.
Young kids. You got Hayward out there as well, and you guys are going to have to start paying. You got Rizzo, Bryant. I mean, those guys are going to want some Arrieta. Yeah. Arrieta's next year, right?
Yeah, they're going to start talking to him next month.
I would assume they're going to try to get something knocked down on him pretty soon. So you guys got a few guys, and then you'll have Lester. Not Lester, but
Lackey
will be a free agent next year, right?
Now, explain a little bit about, if you could, or if you know anything about it, the luxury tax, which is going to kick in.
Oh boy,
next year.
That's changing. They actually upped the dollar amount on it, so now I believe it's going to be $196 million. Is if you go above that threshold, there's going to be different levels of reimbursement to Major League Baseball, so I haven't read into it fully, so I don't want to say
it's not necessarily false, it's not a salary cap.
No, it's not a salary cap because this is the thing. A team can spend $300 million if they want,
but they're going to pay
a huge amount. Yeah. Let's say you go over it. Just keep it simple. $10 million. You go over $10 million. The first year, it's a certain percentage. The second year, it's that number. So if you go over it, like I said, I don't know the exact numbers, but this is what I'm understanding it, is if you go over, let's say, $10 million the first year, you may have to pay $4 million. The following year, you'll have to pay that $10 million. So if you go over it $200 million, you're going to pay that. And all these smaller market teams, it goes from the bottom up. And they'll get different pieces of the pie. So
your smaller teams that aren't spending or can't spend, they're going to get a cut of that.
Correct.
So
which you talk to a team like Kansas City just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
The Yankees paying in what they had to pay in all those years. It came back to Kansas City, made Kansas City very competitive for about 3 years, 4 years actually, and made them very competitive. They could hold on to a couple of their chips, plus go out and get Volquez or a couple other guys like that that really kind of jump-started them and got them into the position where they brought home some hardware, which reinvigorated their fan base, and now they've got their fans there again. They're loyal again, and that's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
So that could help some of these lower market teams. I mean, there's a small window there because right now you see Kansas City kind of dismantling a little bit.
Correct, but there's always going to be a small window. That's the thing. That's supposed to be parity. That's how sports is supposed to win. That's why when you came in and we were all talking about the Cubs, I'm like, well, this is how it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It's baseball. You're supposed to win at some point. You're not supposed to go 108 years and your fan base not feel that thrill of victory.
Well, we did.
You did. But that's why. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's supposed to. Cleveland is supposed to feel this at some point. Tampa Bay. Arizona, these other markets are supposed to feel that joy, and spread it along their fan bases so the fan base can get geared up and buy in to Major League Baseball. And I think that's what you're seeing right now. The Cubs fan base, as great as it was, just got taken to a different level because now you have people that understand what winning's about, and they want it.
And that's why the attitude for this upcoming season for a Cub fan, it's going to be different. Your outlook's going to be different because there's not going into that the season, there's not that desperation. There's not that need or that, we have to. They did. So what does that do for the Cub fan? Are they
Well, if it's like the Cardinal fans,
more?
If it's like the Cardinal fans, we turn the page and now it's time to get another one.
Yeah.
That's
you just get that hunger for more. I want more.
I know you remember when the Cardinals won a few years back. The following year it was, let's get one this year, make it 12-12.
I don't remember.
I think you do remember that because we had discussions on that.
Oh, I do remember that because my in-laws are all Cardinal fans and
all of them.
Man, I just wanted to puke. A couple of times I did. I think I saw them twice the whole summer. I just avoid them. But now it's the other way around.
Now Greg built out close to you, so you don't have much of a choice.
They avoid me. When I walk into their house, they leave.
Why? Why would they do that? They have have 13 pennants.
If you're a Cub fan,
if
you're a true Cub fan or a true Cardinal fan, you're not rooting. A Cardinal fan is not rooting for the Cubs to win, and I'm sure not rooting for a Cardinals team to win. I
told you,
and that's just the way it is.
I said it.
Now,
I was happy that my friends won.
Exactly. There's a different side to
I was good with that, and I was not looking forward to all the ribbing I was getting from and due ribbing.
Right.
At the same time, it didn't bother me they won. You're supposed to win. It's baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, it definitely takes the rivalry to a new level.
It does, because now the Cardinals, they got to step it up a notch.
I think it's Dexter Fowler move. I think that's a solid move.
It is a solid move, absolutely.
I was talking to your brother-in-law there, and I said, the reason I like this move is because we got a need filled. That's for one, and it's for $100 million less than what we would have had to pay Jason Hayward.
Right.
So, in my mind, that's a good move. Shorter contract. He is a couple years older.
See, that's where the Jason Hayward signed with the Cubs. That tied the Cubs' hands. They don't have that. They don't have that luxury to,
Now, keep in mind they do have the money, resources to go out and do more with their television contract they have. If they decide to spend it, that's up to them. Where it does tie their hands is if they're going to keep Russell, Rizzo, Bryant, and all these other guys, Arrieta, they're going to have to pay these guys, and that luxury tax comes up quickly.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of circles back around to that luxury tax number.
Well, they've got some of the best in the business in that front office with the Cubs, a genius, and Theo Epstein.
Well, and like I said last week, to show how well they've done, one of their top executives, Tom Ricketts, is going to the Trump staff.
Yeah.
I mean,
they know how to handle money.
They know how to handle money.
I mean, he owns Ameritrade or whatever, something like that. Ricketts, aren't they the founders of Ameritrade?
I believe so. Yeah. So I mean, that's they're not going to go out there and get ridiculous. I don't believe, but they do have the money. The money is there. Right. The only issue you would have was even if you trade off a Hayward, more than likely whoever would take him on down the road is going to have to assume. The Cubs are still going to have to assume the contract. They have to assume the contract doesn't come off the sour or luxury tax.
Right.
So,
and all the talk right now. I know it's Christmas time. We're not. We don't tend to talk about baseball.
Hot stove's hot right now.
There's still some moves out there.
Well, I believe the
Kenley
Cubs
Jansen is still out there.
I still believe the Cubs are. I mean, they just made the big trade this week. Mm-hmm. They only gave up Soler.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a win. I think, to be honest, I think it's a win both sides. The reason Soler's a win for Kansas City is controllable player, good, solid upside. And
I like to see what he does playing every day.
I think him playing every day is going to make a big difference, especially with the other young players there as well, because their team's still pretty young as well, and you got some good professionals there with Kane and others. So,
and with him being in the American League now, there's the DH.
Yep.
So you don't have to put him in the field if you don't want to.
I think he's a solid outfielder. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I
he's
I
got
thought
a
he was
decent
solid.
arm, but he's got to work on his footwork.
Yep.
That's just going to take time. He's a young kid.
He's young,
and, not playing every day. It's going to be rough when you stick him out in right field.
Well, especially in
left.
Chicago.
Yeah, that's a tough ball.
Chicago is a tough right field to play. So with the wind as well as the concrete wall or brick wall there.
Yeah, and just the dimensions of the ballpark. You don't have much of a foul line in that right field corner.
And then it jets out where the warm-up mounds are, bullpen is.
Yeah, which that's going to change. Is it next year or year after? Where they're putting the bullpen in
They put them out in Addison.
Yeah, well, they got Wrigley tore up. Right?
How fan-friendly would that be?
Yeah.
Have them warm up on the street.
Well, right now they've got the home plate all tore up. They're putting in the lounge right there. And so big thanks for Cub fans. And the reason we are talking a lot of baseball is because the Bears are horrible.
I tell you,
they did win last week, and I'm kind of curious. I want to see tomorrow. I'm going to watch tomorrow's game.
Are you
going up against a first place Detroit, just to see where some of these young kids are? Because there's going to be a lot of playing time for these young kids, and I want to see how Barkley reacts on a away game.
I will tell you, Barkley's been kind of consistent. Yeah.
You thought
if they catch the ball, it's amazing what happens.
Yeah, and he hasn't really had that chance. Well, this is his audition right now because Cutler, I believe, is out the door.
Yeah,
he's just kind of he's just Cutler. He has moments, and then he has more bad moments.
He's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah, but he's just
and I think he tries to do a little too much once in a while with receivers that have proven they can't handle that much.
My thing is, if you want to do that, that's fine. What irritates me is when he's out of the pocket trying to make something happen and fumbles it or does something stupid. Throw the ball away, live for another day, because that's cost him some games in the past, several games as a matter of fact, and that's my only issue with him. We knew what we were getting from the get-go. He's a gunslinger. Mm-hmm. He throws the ball, but he doesn't take care of the ball, and that's what really irks me when you got young guys like a Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
All you got to do is manage a game and live to see another down.
I'll tell you what, where'd he come from, too?
Well, the Bears could have had him. He went fourth round.
A lot of teams could have had him.
Yeah.
I mean,
But who would have known?
Yeah. You have to be in the right spot.
2020, and we can say all we want now, but a
lot of teams could have had Tom Brady, too.
Yeah. What, 6th, 7th round? Yeah, I mean, you don't know. We can say that now just because it's there. But, back in April, nobody knew who Dak Prescott was.
Exactly.
The Cowboys were willing to take a chance. Had to be some I don't know, bad luck. When Romo went down, you throw in Prescott, and boom, with Ezekiel Elliott, in the mix too. Those are two guys right there in the running for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and maybe MVP.
And as I hate to say it, the Cowboys are good, and I really hate to say it.
It's almost like saying Packers are good.
Yeah,
it's almost.
I don't mind the Packers as much as the Cowboys. It's America's team. It hasn't been America's team for 20.
That's America's team, right?
America.
Okay.
The Arizona Cardinals are America's team. America's with Joe.
Still making sure that Joe was paying attention.
But yeah, the football season will go about 4 weeks left. I just haven't really got into it. It's hard when your team is horrible.
Well,
ratings
are down all the way across the board.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, there's several factors to it, but
it's good football. I think there's good football going on. I just think there's a lot of stuff that's happened across the United States.
Turned a lot of people off.
That's changed maybe a mindset of where you want to be on your Sunday afternoon.
There's a lot of military people, veterans, and that's a majority of your viewers right there. And for them to do things like that, Kaepernick, boy, was that great last week.
You know what? I was going to bring it up. 4 yards passing. You think about Soldier Field and what it stands for and whatnot.
Soldier. It's not
Soldier.
plural. Come on.
Soldier Field.
I know.
And what it stands for and whatnot. And watching Colin Kaepernick get thrown to the ground. repeatedly laying on the ground. It was fitting.
Well, but you have to give credit where credit's due, and that Bears defense is looking pretty solid right now. Their front four, Hicks,
and even the secondary really stepped up. Really, a few times the last few weeks.
And you got to remember, these guys are young. I mean, we're throwing kids in there that are third and fourth string just with all the injuries. So, right now, like we said earlier, Jake, it's an audition for these young kids. They didn't have the season that we wanted, but we kind of knew that going in. Even last year where we had nothing. Mm-hmm. But I think some of these draft picks that Ryan Pace has made, you can see some glimpses there where there's something there. Mm-hmm. Just glimpses. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, but their draft class is decent, and if it weren't for injuries, I think we'd be closer to a 500 team. Not saying that we're going to go to the playoffs, but I think our record would show a bigger improvement than it does.
Absolutely, I completely agree, and it'll be another interesting offseason for them. What kind of moves they're going to make and whatnot. That's the nice thing about them too, is some of the free agent pickups they made. They didn't sign them long-term contracts.
No,
and I think that's kind of a new way of doing business across the NFL. To be honest,
well, it's because the turnover rate. I mean, 3 years is a pretty good contract.
Yeah,
because injuries and things like that happen.
I think when you're looking at your certain positions, running back and wide receiver, I think you're wanting to get those guys drafted and locked in for a while. Whereas, some of the linebackers and whatnot, unless you have a true stud, mm-hmm. you're wanting to be a little shorter term and try to get these guys that are coming off their rookie contracts and get them in there and maybe see what you can get out of them. So,
right.
I think it's a different way of doing business, and I think a lot of the NFL executives are kind of going on in the same mold.
Yeah. Be sure to join the annual Cookies with Santa Claus now until 11, so you got about an hour to get out to the Lincoln Park District.
Delicious.
Brought to you by citizens to elect Kevin Bateman for Lincoln Mayor, Logan County Sheriff Steve Nichols and deputies, Bright Idea Screen Printing and Unique Gifts, Lincoln IGA, and WLCN 96.3 FM. There will be lots of fun, and your kids will meet the real Santa, the real one. And they can tell them what they want. And you can see your child online at WLCNonline.com and LCTV, Comcast Channel 5 in Lincoln, and Mount Pulaski. And as always, you can go to WLCNonline.com and watch it on the internet.
I love the real Santa.
The real Santa.
Yeah.
You're like the elf. The elf. You ever seen the movie Elf?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of like him. I think you should wear that suit. I know what one kid wants for Christmas, and that's Batman socks.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mom and Dad, make sure that you tell Santa that Eli wants Batman socks.
You could tell he was serious about the Batman socks.
He was. That's all he wants. Boy, I wish that's all my kids wanted.
That'd make life easy, wouldn't it?
I'd buy him a case of Batman socks.
This will last you all year.
Well, I'd like to thank Bob Metz and crew out here at P&M Communications for having the cheap seats today. It's a great place to come do your Christmas shopping, all your electronic needs.
Support your local business here.
And stay tuned for Big Daddy Jim and Bob Metz from P&M Communications for their annual P&M Communications Christmas Open House. They will be live until noon, but the celebration goes on until 2 with great food from Lincoln IGA and great deals on TVs and other top quality products available here at P&M Communications. And the money stays here in Lincoln and Logan County. P&M Communications, the local guys. Next week, we will be at Castle Manor at 1550 Castle Manor Drive, and we'd like to thank the Hampton Inn for the box of goodies and coffee.
Look who walked in to get the free food. There's Joe over there going through the free food already.
Yep, Joe.
Oh, my God. I can't.
Joe
he comes in just to stop and get the free food.
He'll show up in Collinsville for the, for the hospitality room. So, yeah.
With his credentials on.
He's like a stray cat. Once you feed him, he doesn't go away.
You would have thought he would have came on the air for a few minutes, but he's feeding his face full already.
He knows what he's doing. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Good day.